So before we proceed with the problems under normal distribution, let us first know how are you going to convert raw scores to z-scores. When we say z-scores, these are the signed values we use for normal distribution. Parang we will write the raw scores into another numerical form. Na yung z-score natin should be numbers from -3 to +3 only, while your raw scores can be any numerical number or any number. So, in converting raw score to z-score, we will use the formula z is equal to x. X is our raw score minus the mean or mu all over the standard deviation. So, these three values are already given, and then all you have to do is just look for the z-score. Again, z is equal to z-score, x is the raw score, and then mu is your mean, and then sigma here is the standard deviation. So, let's have a few examples, and how are you going to rewrite a raw score to z-score? First example, so let's say the given values are mean is equal to 68, standard deviation is equal to 5, and then x is equal to, or the raw score is equal to 73. To get the z-score equivalent to 73, all we have to do is use the formula for z-score, and that is z is equal to x minus the mean all over the standard deviation. And then all you have to do is substitute the given values in this formula. So since our x is equivalent to 73, 73 minus the mean, which is 68, all over 5. If you will ask me, ma'am, can we use a calculator in solving this one? Yes po, you may. So I'll show you how are you going to use how are we going to maximize the function of your calculators. I will divide the classification of your calculators into two. The first classification of calculator is the 4-liner calculators, and the second one is yung 2-liner na calculator. When I say 4-liners, yung 4-liner yung calculator nyo, you have a big screen. Yung screen is the same as my screen in my calculator po. I will just show you the calculator dito sa screen. And then, yung 2-liner na calculator naman is half nito. Half nung nasa calculator ko. So, directly solving this in our calculator, if your calculator is the same as my calculator, or we have the same screen, now we have a 4-liner calculator, all you have to do is input the numerical values in the same way that I write this here in the board. So, kung paano ko siya sinulat dito, ganun nyo din siya itatype sa calculator. So, how are you going to type that in your calculator? Na as in ganito yung itsura. So, first, you look for this symbol for fraction. This is a symbol for fraction. So, what you're going to do is press that one, and then you will have a symbol na ganito. And then, you just input 73 minus 68, and then you use the cursors in your calculator to bring down the yung writer nito. Tapos, you write number 5 since our standard deviation is 5, and then you just press equal sign, and that will be the answer for this one. But, if you will have you have a 2-liner calculator, ibig sabihin po nung 2-liner na calculator, your screen should be this. Parang ayan, ganito lang yung screen ninyo. You have a smaller screen compared to this one. So, if that would be the case, yan, the display in your calculator should be like this. You have to enclose 73 minus 68 in a parenthesis, because if not, your calculator will just solve from left to right. So, pero it's not what we are trying to show, diba? Parang we have to solve 73 minus 68 first before we divide it by 5. So, para yun yung masabi nyo sa calculator, parang ganun yung nilalagay nyo sa calculator using a two-liner calculator. You have to enclose 73 minus 68 first, and then you press this function or the key with this kind of function, or with this you press the key with this kind of function, yung a, b, or c. A over b over c, or in some other calculators it is b over c. Tapos you press that one, and then may symbol na ganito. This symbol signifies fraction bar in a two-liner calculator. And then, you just press 5, tapos equal sign, and then you'll have the same answer as this one. So, just to show you, if you will not enclose this one in a parentheses, you'll have a different answer na magiging 297 over 5, and that is not correct. So, kasi ang ginagawa nito sa calculator, parang what you're trying to say in the calculator is, it will divide 68 by 5 first before subtracting it by 73, kasi using the rules of PEMDAS. Pero that's not what you're trying to write, or diba, that's not what you're trying to do. What you're trying to do is you subtract 73 and 68 first before you divide it by 5. So, para yun yung mailagay natin sa calculator, you have to enclose it in a parentheses. So, again, the answer for number 1 is C-score is equal to 1. Or, the C-score equivalent to X na 73 is 1. Next problem, or next number, raw score to C-score again. If mean daw is equal to 80, standard deviation is 6, and your raw score is 74, we have to look for the C-score. So, again, we use the formula for the C-score na X minus the mean all over the standard deviation. So, substituting the values, we will have 74 minus 80 all over 6. Again, if your calculator is a 4-liner calculator, or you have a wider screen in your calculator, all you have to do is just type yung mga numerical values the same way I write it down in this board. So, para magkaroon ng fraction bar, all you have to do is press this function first, displaying this kind of picture, typing it down. We will have 74 minus 80 all over 6. The answer is negative 1. And again, if your or if the screen of your calculator is just a 2-liner screen, all you have to do po is enclose 74 minus 80 in a parentheses all over yung symbol. You look for this symbol. This is for 4-liner. For 2-liner ay A, B over C, or B over C lang. You look for this function. Then, all over, ano yun ulit? 6. Then, you press equal sign. You will still get the value of C-score as negative 1 if your raw score is 74. Third problem, mean is 36, standard deviation is 4.8, and your raw score is 48. So, again, we use the formula for the C-score na raw score minus the mean all over the standard deviation to get the C-score equivalent to the raw score na 48. So, if your calculator is a 4-liner calculator, this will be the display in your calculator. 48 minus 36 all over 4.8. The answer po is 2.5. If the answer is in fraction form, all you have to do is press F to D, or in some other calculators, it is S to D, or sometimes yung fraction na B over C. You just look for any of these symbols, then you just press that one, then the answer will be in decimal form already. And the C-score equivalent to 48 is 2.5. For two-liner calculators naman, the display of your calculator should be like this. 48 minus 36, close all over 4.8. 4.8. The answer is still 2.5. So again, if the values or the answer shows a fraction number, all you have to do is look for these symbols or this function, and then you press that one. After pressing it, your answer will be in decimal form. Next, fourth problem. If mean is equal to 44, standard deviation is equal to 5, and the raw score is equal to 50. Again, we just use the formula for for C-score na 50 minus 44 all over 5. So, in our calculator, or using our calculator, if your calculator is a 4-liner, this will be the display. Ano yan? 50 minus 44 all over 5. The answer is 6 over 5. Again, you look for the functions f to d or s to d or b over c. Then you press that one. The answer will be in decimal form, and the equivalent C-score for this problem or for this equation is 1.2, or yung C-score for a raw score na 50 is 1.2. If your calculator naman is a two-liner calculator, this will be the display. 50 minus 44 all over 5. 6 over 5, we press F to D or S to D or B over C. Then the answer is still 1.2. Fifth problem. So, our mean is 50, our standard deviation is 3.5, and the raw score is 44. So, we use again the formula for the C-score. Raw score minus the mean all over the standard deviation. For 4-liner calculators, we have 44 minus 50 all over 3.5. The answer is negative 1.71. Starting today po, all the non-numerical values that we will use will be rounded off to 2 decimal places. Again po, all the numerical values we will include in our solution will be rounded off to 2 decimal places if in case it will exceed 2 decimal places. If your calculator naman po is a 2-liner calculator, this will be the display. 44 minus 50, close parentheses, all over 3.5. Negative, still we have negative 1.71.